Hello class, in this video I'm going to show you how to render out your animation using the Playblast renderer. Playblast renderer, it's basically a preview render which is going to render your animation either at or faster than real time. It just gives you an indication of what your animation will look like, not connected to Maya. It creates a separate video file. So before we do that, we need to do a little bit of setup. So what I want to do is I want to make sure that we have our correct settings. What we want to do is I want to create, uh, I want to set the resolution to our what the output animation is going to be. In order to do that, we need to go into the render settings. There's two different locations that you can access the render settings. The first one is under the File menu. If you go to Windows, under Rendering Editors, we have the Render Settings. This one does not show you the icon of what the render settings look like, but let me go ahead and show you where it's at as well. It's in our document window. Oops, right here. It's this window right here. This is the render settings. Now, if you look at the very bottom, left corner of my screen under the status bar, you can see display render settings window. So I'm going to go and click on this one. Click, and we get the option window for the render settings. I'm just going to go ahead and go. What I want to do is we're only going to change one setting. Typically, this is your render settings for the Maya renderer. You could either use Maya software, hardware, vector, or Arnold renderer. If you don't have these turned on, you might need to turn on a plugin, which I will show in a different video. But right now, we're not actually going to be using this. We're going to be using the information found in the Common tab. This is where you're able to, let me show you, this is what it looks like at the very top. We have different options. We're not going to use those options. The option that we are going to use is under the image size. We're going to use a preset. There's different types of presets that you could use. I want to go ahead and locate under the preset. I want to locate where it says HD. We have HD 540, 720, or 1080. I want to use the HD 720. This is going to give us the resolution of 1280 by 720. And I'm going to go ahead. That's the only thing that we want to change for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the close button. So this is giving us our resolution. Now what we need to do, we need to tell or set up our camera. We're going to be using our perspective camera as a camera that we're going to tell Maya where to render from. But what I need to do, I need to make sure that I have my framing correct. So what we're going to do, we're going to access a menu within the perspective camera here, within this perspective panel. If you notice right here, we have like a mini file menu. If you go to view, I'm going to go under camera settings, and I actually want to rip off this menu. I want to tear this menu out. Click. So now we have this window right here. I'm just going to move it over here to the side. What I want to do is I want to turn on what's called the resolution gate. I'm going to turn it on momentarily, and it kind of gives us an overview. So what I want to do, I could rotate within this window. I want to make sure that one, I'm not like really far off to the side, that when I play my animation, it's just over here. I also don't want to be so close that I can't see my planets going around. So I want to use this to be able to navigate. I can actually play this and navigate. Depends on the capabilities of your computer. So I think I like this right here because I could see this one, it clears, and I have a little bit more spacing over here on the side. Great, I like this. So I'm just gonna continue. Great, we have that. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this. Stop. Gonna rewind. And you can see this is the area that I want to render out from. Now, we turned this on, the resolution gate. Now that we've already got our are framing down. Um, I want you to be wary not to zoom in or anything because it's going to change our camera. So if possible, try not to move around in this view for right now, just for a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and now tell it to turn off the resolution gate. I'm going to tell it no gate. So we have this right here. Now, but it's already kind of set up with our motion. So if we leave this turned on when we render it out, we're still going to get this gray part of it. So this is going to allow us to maximize our image, our resolution. So I'm going to go and we could close this window for right now. What I want to do now, I want to show you how to access the Playblast uh, option. So I'm going to change my menu set from modeling to animation. And of course, there's two areas that you could locate the Playblast. One is under Windows. We have Playblast right here. Don't select it just yet. We're going to go into the options. But the other option to locate that same option is under Playback in the animation menu set, Playblast. So either one gives you the same options, but I would just want to show you the two different locations. I'm going to go and select the option box, click, and here in the options, it needs to know our time range. If I select time slider, you want to make sure that the numbers over here on the far left is set. So I'm going to start at frame 1. My animation starts at frame 1. And then over here on the far right, this is the end of my animation. This other numbers right here, this is only for the time range right here. It's starting off at frame 1. I could click and change this. Now it's at starting at frame 74, and it's displaying from 74 to frame 154. But my animation still starts at frame 1 and ends at frame 240. I'm just going to click and drag this back out just to show you the difference between these different values. Sometimes they're the same, some 1 and 1, 240 and 240 on my interface. So time range, we could always give it a start and end. So what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I'm going to leave view turned on, but show ornaments I want to turn off. This is with show ornaments turned on, it might display different things that are selected within your interface. I don't want any of that stuff. For the formats, you have two different formats. You could either render out as a movie file or a series of images. I'm going to select the movie format. So I'm going to use AV Foundation. You have two options, at least on a Mac, for encoding. I'm going to select H.264, or you can use the photo. I'm going to select H.264. I'm not sure if the options are the same on a Windows. I'm going to have to do some research on that. We do not have a quality setting as a result. For display size, this is where I want it to tell it to use from render settings. Because we already set it to be the HD 720, and I already set up my window as well. For the scale, this would only give us 1/2 the resolution, so I want to go ahead and bring this back up to 1. Frame padding we actually was not going to affect us. This is more specifically if we're renting out a series of images. Frame padding will give us like image uh, uh, with 4 digits at the end, 0001, 0002, etc., etc. So I'm going to tell it to save to file. I'm going to give it a name. For this one, because we're going to use it for our submission, I'm going to use my first name, last name, and then this is assignment 1. And I'm going to go ahead and press the Playblast window, and it's now rendering my animation. See how fast it goes? And then on a Mac, it automatically opens up QuickTime. I don't know if it opens up the movie viewer on Windows. Again, I might have to do some research on that. but I can now press play, and there we have our rendered animation. This is now a separate video file is that exists outside of Maya. So I'm going to go ahead and close this window. Let me go ahead and show you where it placed this window. I'm going to switch to my file window. Typically, if you already set your project directory, which I hope you did, it opens up within your project directory. It put this within the movies file. So you can see right here, I saved it, Aldo Figueroa Assignment 1 movie. And that's how you use a Playblast. Let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing what you're doing, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.